Thanks for tuning in to Steel City Football, the 4-1-2. It's a great day to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. Let's jump right in. So, there's a rumor coming out of Pittsburgh that another one of Mike Tomlin's high round draft picks might bite the dust. Kaleb Johnson. It might be over for Kaleb Johnson. And I'm not laughing because I think, it's funny that a professional athlete might be washed up out of the National Football League or might not catch on with another team. That's not why I'm laughing. Mike Tomlin's decision-making, Mike Tomlin's draft picks have totally destroyed the Pittsburgh Steelers. They really have. And it doesn't get talked about enough. It just doesn't. Everybody will keep making excuses for Coach Tomlin, like he doesn't have anything to do with this situation or it's not his fault. And I heard another Steelers beat writer come out today and he was trying to blame Coach Tomlin. The reason why Kaleb Johnson didn't work out is because Coach Tomlin hurt Kaleb Johnson's confidence after he fumbled on the kickoff. And that's just a bunch of garbage. Listen, just chalk it up to Mike Tomlin was not a good evaluator of talent. Excuse me. Devin Bush, Kenny Pickett. I know those are first round draft picks. I know that Kaleb Johnson's a third round pick, excuse me. Artie Burns. But you can't miss on your first, second, third round draft picks. And Coach Tomlin has a history and he has a track record of his picks not panning out or his picks not working. The report card on Derek Harmon is still out. Is he worth a first round draft pick? Remains to be seen. Do I think Troy Fontano is going to rebound? It sure seems like Troy seems like the real deal. But the majority of these draft picks have not worked out for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that's why I'm laughing. And that I don't understand why the so-called beat writers in Pittsburgh, I'm sure they cover it from time to time, but it's not talked about enough. Again, Stephen A. Smith the other day, a guy that has defended Tomlin for years, who's blamed everybody in the Sun for Tomlin's bad decision-making and bad coaching. He came out the other day and he said, now you're finally going to get to see what Omar Khan can do now that Mike Tomlin is gone. He got a text from somebody in the Steelers organization letting him know that Mike Tomlin was in total control of the draft. So here we are once again. Kaleb Johnson, he was a third-round pick by the Pittsburgh Steelers, pick 83. And when you think about what he did last year for the Steelers, he did absolutely nothing. He didn't contribute in any type of way whatsoever. Zero, zilch, nothing. And this is a reflection of Coach Tomlin, and this is exactly why the organization is in the situation that it's in. If you can't build your team through the draft and you keep missing on your picks, that's why you're an average organization. We're an average organization. I don't want to hear about the quarterback. The players that Tomlin did pick haven't panned out. So you also have Nick Wright today. He's just a total idiot. Nick Wright is the type of person that he's always trying to say the right thing for street cred. He comes out and he says that Pittsburgh Steelers fans are going to miss Coach Tomlin. It's like, dude, do you really watch the games? No, none of us that watch the games that are really plugged in with the Steelers are going to miss Coach Tomlin at all. Like, yeah, it doesn't mean I wish harm on him or I don't like him personally. It just wasn't working anymore. It hasn't worked. The Steelers haven't won a playoff game in 10 years. So when an idiot like Nick Wright, and I know at ESPN, it's just total garbage. When somebody like Nick Wright comes out and he says, Steelers and Steelers fans are going to miss Coach Tomlin next year. It's like, you really make the amount of money that you make for these takes? It should have to be some type of rule where if you want to comment on the Steelers or give analysis, whatever you like to call it, that you should have to log a certain amount of hours of actually watching the games and not just making up total bullshit off the top of your head. which Nick Wright and Stephen A. Smith and racist Ryan Clark do all the time. Let me look at the super chats real quick. Fluffy Nug YT. Yes, favorite Steeler is streaming. What's up, buddy? How the Eagles doing? How's it going? One of Tomlin's draft picks is pretty much on the bubble. Let's get into the article. Kaleb Johnson officially on notice after Steelers' latest move. Yeah, it's never a good sign when they bring in Rico Dowden and pay him big time money, and you're a third-round pick, and you haven't contributed anything to the team. Kaleb Johnson didn't have the rookie year he wanted. If he doesn't improve in a hurry, Johnson won't have the sophomore season he envisioned either. It might not even come in Pittsburgh. It's not going to come in Pittsburgh. I think his career is over. You know, I've said it from the beginning, and people keep saying, oh, it's too early to tell. I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. The way he hits the hole, it seems very slow. Especially, it's, you know, in today's NFL, it seems very indecisive. I don't think we're ever going to see Roman Wilson touch the field. I've been on record multiple times. You know, I find it's my opinion. It's my feeling. You know, but that's how I feel. I don't think that Roman Wilson is ever going to work out, and I don't think Kaleb Johnson's going to work out either. And to my knowledge, I think Roman Wilson was a third or fourth round pick. I got to look it up. But once again, Tomlin picking players that do absolutely nothing for the organization. Devin Bush, he averaged 40 tackles a year before he was traded to the Browns and then his career. You know, I take heat for that one. Do you even watch the games? Devin Bush was awesome. Devin Bush sucked. Artie Burns sucked. Ryan Pickett. I don't know why I always say his name like that, but Kenny Pickett, he was terrible. Kenny Pickett's the worst, Steelers draft pick probably in Steelers history. And these are all Tomlin's decisions, and these are all Tomlin's picks. Fluffy Nug YT says Jalen threw a pick 6, and I didn't watch the flag football. I'm not watching that. It's just like, dude, the NFL just see there. What I think the NFL and Roger Goodell is doing with this flag football is they're trying to condition your mind to accept flag football, so then they can take out the hitting. They can have 18 games. They can have men. They can have women. They can have transgenders. They can have it just be a fiasco. I think they're just trying to gradually introduce you to flag football. Then people like Tom Brady who are 50 can still play football. I just think Roger Goodell is taking the National Football League in a direction that nobody's expecting. And over time and in time, he'll eventually, because our population becomes softer and softer throughout time. I think this is all a plan for the future to take the league in a direction of no more contact and no more hitting. That's just my opinion. And if it ever comes down to that, I'll never watch the National Football League again. I will literally make a bonfire. I love all my Steelers memorabilia. I love the memories it gives me. I love the black and gold. I love Dick LeBeau more than anything. I love the city of Pittsburgh. I love the entire tradition. But you have to remember one thing. I love football even more. And football itself and the shield, as much as I love the Steelers, comes before all that. The game and the pureness of the game comes before even the team that I love. And once you start messing with that, right now I'm kind of teetering as it is. I'm so disgusted with football. I only watch the Steelers and I'm done. But if they ever start going that direction, I will literally burn my memorabilia and just try to move on with my life and never think about football again. Because I love football so much. And what it has become, the non-contact and the non-hitting and all the political messaging and just the total political dumpster fire it has become, it really hurts me. It really causes me pain in a real sense. It really rattles me, and it really hurts me because I love the National Football League. I love everything about it. I did at one time. Now I have a totally different opinion. I hate Roger Goodell. I make no apologies. Hate is a strong word, but I hate the man. He's destroyed the one beautiful thing that I love the most, and that's the National Football League. And I don't want to hear everybody, they hide behind, oh, he's trying to keep the players safe. That's total bullshit. There's Thursday Night Football. He's trying to add another game to the season. These players are not robots. He just took all the records that were ever broken by these great players, totally pissed on them, threw them in the garbage. You can't claim that you care about player safety, have Thursday Night Football, and add games to the schedule. Roger Goodell is a politician, a slash businessman, a slash con man, and the only thing that he cares about is the bottom line and money, and that's it. Let me get back into the article because I can go on forever about that situation. Let's get back to Kaleb Johnson. Drafted to be an intermediate impact runner, Johnson instead spent most of the 2025 season on the sidelines. In training camp, he struggled in blitz pickup and catching the ball. Oh, you'll never get on the field if that's the case. Forget him hitting the hole slow. If you can't pick up the blitz and catch the ball, you're out. Excuse me. Deal breakers when it came to playing with quarterback Aaron Rodgers, who needed a player who could trust to do those not so little things. Kenneth Gainwell shined on the way to a career year, becoming 1B to Jaylen Warren's 1A. Johnson was left to carve out a role elsewhere. Pittsburgh tried him as a kick returner. That plan went up in smoke in week 2 after Johnson's kickoff blunder in the home opener against the Seattle Seahawks. Absent-mindedly letting a bouncing kick go past him that was recovered in the end zone for a Seattle touchdown. It turned the tide in a Pittsburgh loss. Oh, yes, it did. Don't ever drink diet soda before you're supposed to come on live. It makes my throat I don't know. The Steelers removed Johnson from kick return duties, and though Mike Tomlin teased giving him a second chance, one never came. Warren and Gainwell assumed those duties instead. Johnson was left without a way to help, still dressing for games. It was common for him to barely see the field, if at all. In week 7 and 8 contests against the Indianapolis Colts and Green Bay Packers, Johnson was active but failed to play a single snap on offense or special teams. Pittsburgh effectively played with one fewer man than its opponent. Don't worry, Coach Tomlin was doing that to Nick Herbig too, but hey, since he made him the game captain for that day, don't worry about playing, Nick. Man, Tomlin, he has really done wonders to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Even after he resigns, his decision-making is still hurting the Steelers, and it's going to hurt the Steelers for a very long time. Really is. Fluffy Nug YT, what does that mean? What's the matter? Oh, and this is the latest move that they're talking about. So it wasn't just Rico Dowdle why people are saying that Kaleb Johnson days are numbered. Rappaport reports Steelers signing running back Travis Homer. He's also great on special teams. So there's only so many spots. You can only have so many running backs on the roster. And since Travis Homer is really good at special teams, I don't anticipate Kaleb Johnson being on the roster in September for the Steelers, for the black and gold. Fluffy Nug YT. Wait, did they trade Tomlin? What do you mean did they trade Tomlin? He resigned. Thank God. The Steelers are signing former Bears and Seahawks running back and special teamer Travis Homer. Source said. Homer, a 6th-round pick of the Seattle Seahawks in the 2019 NFL draft out of Miami, spent the last 3 seasons with the Chicago Bears, where he played primarily on special teams. Homer had just 7 carries in 3 seasons in Chicago, including 1 for -2 yards last season under first-year head coach Ben Johnson. He had 1 kick return for 29 yards last year, but he played 163 special team snaps, accounting for 63% of the Bears' special team snaps in 2025. Across his 3 seasons with the Bears, Homer saw just 87 offensive snaps, but played 582 special team snaps. See, this is what's scary for Kaleb Johnson. This is the writing on the wall. It's not the running back slot. It's not the running back position. It's Travis Homer's ability to play special teams. I would go as far to say, I don't think Kaleb Johnson, he might get a touch or 2 in the preseason, but if he doesn't do something with the first 3 touches, he might touch the ball a total of 5 more times for the Pittsburgh Steelers during live action. I think it's over. And that's it. I mean, the writing's on the wall for Kaleb Johnson. I never thought it was going to work. You can go back to when they drafted him, what I said. I just didn't like his style of running. It just doesn't seem like he hits the hole quick or he has bad vision. I don't know. He just seems like a little hesitant. And if you hesitate like a split second, the hole closes up and it's done and it's over. I really liked what I saw from Kenneth Gainwell last year. I really love Jaylen Warren. I mean, he could take it to the house in a heartbeat. He's an excellent back. He's a very good running back. And you can give Jaylen Warren the ball 20, 25 times a game. And he's durable. He might be short, but he's not small. He's 215, 215, 220. He's every bit of that. So beat writer explains why Steelers haven't officially signed safety Darnell Savage. I don't care at this point. Steelers got like a million safeties on their roster, so I don't really care. Film room. Let's see what the Steelers are getting in offensive lineman Brock Hoffman. Let's see what it says. Run blocking. Hoffman is an effective drive blocker in man schemes. He's good size at 6'3.5", 302, and 33 1/4 inch arms as he measured in coming out of Virginia Tech helps. He can displace and move in the run game, driving his feet to finish blocks. That's when Hoffman is at his best, getting vertically, especially on double teams, combo blocks to move first level defenders. Examples. He's the center number 67 in all the clips below. All right, let's check it out. I mean, I guess in today's day and age, that's like spectacular. You got to remember, I've been watching the Steelers for a long time, and I saw Dermontti Dawson play, and Dermontti Dawson was just incredible. I mean, I don't know, he might have been 280, between 280 and 300. Players were smaller back then. But when you see your center pull on a sweep and he's out there and he's manhandling people, I just excuse my negativity here. These players today, I don't think we're seeing cream of the crop. Excuse me. I don't think we're seeing cream of the crop athletes and players in the NFL anymore. I just don't. People will say, "Oh, they're the players are testing off the charts at the combine," and they'll bring up all types of numbers like that. I'm not talking about what guys do in shorts and a t-shirt. I'm talking about what they do on the field against other human beings who are trying to physically attack them. And when you saw Dermontti Dawson pulling in the run game, and you've seen that big hog come in and setting the edge and setting the tone and just crushing defenders with a big bruising tailback behind him, I mean, fine. It didn't look bad, but I'm not impressed. It's just whatever. Let me move on from this. Let me move on. Let me get out of here. Look, I mean, I looked at a little bit of film from him. He seemed like a good player for the Cowboys. So I'm not like saying anything negative, but just take what I say with a grain of salt. Anybody that saw the great Dermontti Dawson play, you'd be like, these players today is just like, all right, whatever. How many more Troy Polamalu's do you think you're going to get? How many more James Harrisons do you think you're going to get? How many TJ Watts do you think you're going to get? The Hines Wards, the Big Bens. Big Ben, people don't give him enough credit. Big Ben is a very, very unique, special player that you'll probably never see again in your lifetime. As a Steeler fan, we're blessed and we're also spoiled because we have some very interesting, unique type of players to have ever played in the NFL. So Fluffy Nug YT says, "Oh yeah, I don't have any clue on what's happening in Pittsburgh." Well, you're a Philly guy, so you really wouldn't. Jerry Dulac, he explains what it would take for Steelers to draft a quarterback this year. Here, let me break this down for you. This should be very simple. What it should take, he should be good enough to get on the field, right? It shouldn't be complicated. He shouldn't be a bust. I know that. He shouldn't be a career backup like Mason Rudolph. And if he can't play and he can't win, we shouldn't draft him. We shouldn't just reach for a quarterback because we need one. I know that's very hard for Steelers fans to accept. No, I don't want to become an Eagles fan. No thanks. I'm good, Fluffy Nook. At this point, if the Steelers take a quarterback in the draft, it won't be until the third round. DULAC wrote recently a point that he has made before, but he added a little more detail this time too. And the only way they are going to do that is if they think he has a bigger upside than Will Howard. Okay, well, listen, the Steelers like to lay a lot of landmines and smoke screens and make you think they're doing one thing and then they're doing another. The only problem with it, the smoke screens as of lately have been blowing up in our face. It's like we're laying booby traps for other teams, and the only problem is the booby trap is going off in our face with Tomlin making the picks. So it's whatever. Look, I don't want a third round quarterback. I really don't. I want a quarterback that's a no-brainer, that you look at him like Patrick Mahomes when he came out in the draft, like the Big Bens, like the Eli Mannings. I want a quarterback that we get that everybody knows, the entire league knows that this quarterback is a first-round draft pick. There's no doubts about it. It's just it's not a matter of if he's going the first round. It's just a matter of where. If he's not a lock, if he's a project, if he's a guessing game, if he's any of that nonsense, I don't want him. Okay, can we just stop? Can we just not do that? That would be nice. Steelers to host LSU linebacker Harold Perkins Jr. for pre-draft visit. I've seen some of his games at LSU, and he kind of reminds me of Nick Herbig in a way, but he's thinner than Nick Herbig. I don't think he's as heavy. I think he plays at like 218 or 220. He's a really good athlete. I don't think he's going to be I don't think he can rush the passer in the NFL. That's just my opinion. He's so athletic, it's going to sound ridiculous. You'd be like, how could he go from pass rusher to defensive back? But I think he's so athletic that he could probably play strong safety, this Harold Perkins. I don't know. I think the Steelers, we have enough pass rushers right now. I really like Jack Sawyer also. So I don't think that, what's his name again? I don't think that Harold Perkins Jr. has enough weight on him for the NFL taking on offensive tackles. That's just my opinion. I've watched a couple of his games and his play. I don't know. It's not like lights out. He seems like an incredible athlete, but I don't know how much as far as being a great football player. To me, it's still very undetermined. 5 things to know about new Steelers offensive lineman Brock Hoffman. There's the big hog, big sexy. That's what they call them, the big sexies, right? Family pedigree. Brock Hoffman's father, Brian Hoffman, played college football at Catawba College. He spent time on both sides of the ball, playing tight end and defensive end. Brian Hoffman later coached at Catawba, making Brock Hoffman the son of both college football player and a college football coach. He gets his football mentality from his parents. I think it's a lot of my upbringing with my dad being a former college coach, Hoffman said in an interview with ESPN in 2024. Back in the day, football was a little bit more physical, I guess, than nowadays, but I still try to bring that old school mentality to the game. That's what I was just talking about. That's why I hate Roger Goodell. I remember in the 3rd grade, she called me soft, Hoffman said in that same interview. His mother, I should say, I'm sorry, I left it out. Hoffman's father wasn't the only parent developing his toughness. Something his mother said to him in 3rd grade is permanently ingrained in his memory. I remember in the 3rd grade, she called me soft, Hoffman said in that same interview. She called me another word, but soft is what I would say. And ever since then, I was never going to be a soft football player. Well, that's good news. I want to see the nastiness. I want to see the tradition of the black and gold be carried out. I want to see everybody be as nasty as Greg Lloyd. I'm really tired of this new age football garbage where, don't hate your right. Roger Goodell pays an idiot on his staff, another woke moron, a figure salary to coach the players not to be confrontational with their rivals. It's just like, dude, what am I talking about? Like, do you see how stupid I sound even talking about that? That's what Roger Goodell's into. And this flag football garbage, I really believe it's conditioning your mind to say that tackle football is bad and we need to evolve into flag football for the best benefit of everybody, where boys can play and girls and men in dresses and all the other bullshit that Roger Goodell is trying to cram down our throats every chance he gets. I believe that's what the NFL is really trying to do, so they can make it more of a skeptical than it already is. Don't get me started with Roger Goodell. He also switched schools to support his mother, but had to sit out a year. Hoffman started his college career at Coastal Carolina, where he played for 2 years. However, his mother developed a brain tumor called an acoustic neuroma, according to the Mayo Clinic. This is a non-cancerous tumor on the main nerve connecting the inner ear and the brain. It can lead to dizziness, balance issues, and hearing issues, including hearing loss and ringing in the ear. Thankfully, surgery successfully removed the tumor. However, it was an incredibly tough experience for her and the whole family. Hoffman attempted to come home to Statesville, North Carolina, as often as he could, but the 200-mile trip between the university and home was overwhelming. So Hoffman transferred to Virginia Tech. Tech's campus is half the distance from home as Coastal Carolina. He applied for the NCAA's family medical hardship waiver to play for the Hokies immediately. But the NCAA rejected his waiver. You know, the NCAA is just a bunch. Double A stands for double assholes. The kid's mother has a tumor on her brain, and you won't accept the waiver. But you'll let other guys transfer because they weren't allowed to paint their fingernails before a game, or the coach yelled at them too much, but you'll okay that. The NCAA is worse than our government. But let me try to not bring politics into this. The reason the waiver is for students whose campuses were closer. And I don't need to hear the reason. The kid's mother had a tumor on her brain, you pieces of shit. Let me move on, because I'm really starting to get mad now, and I'm trying not to curse. So he also won the 2021 Wells Fargo Advisors Humanitarian of the Year Award, given by the Touchdown Club of Richmond. Well, he seems like a good person on and off the field, this Brock Hoffman. Let's hope it works out. Let's hope he gets in the weight room, gets stronger. Let's hope he does his thing. Seems like a good addition. Seems like he's going to be a good person in the locker room. Sorry that the NCAA did that to your mother when she was ill. Just shows how much they have no class. They've single-handedly destroyed college football, paying these players, you could stay in college football for 9 years and you can make more money than the pros. But God forbid your mother has a tumor on her brain. We don't want you to be able to transfer to a campus 100 miles away from your home so you could take care of her. They have some type of issue with that. So it just shows you, who they truly are as human beings. Shit people. We got another analyst ripping on Broderick Jones. Broderick Jones is not the future. Analyst says left tackle is Steelers' biggest need after quarterback. I agree. I think it's left tackle. Renner said recently on his Pushing the Pile podcast, I think this team has seen what Broderick Jones is, and it's time to admit that he's not the future of the left tackle position, or at least admit that you need to have an insurance plan if he continues to play the way he has for most of his career. Well, here's another Tomlin pick. Steelers moved up 3 spots to grab Broderick Jones, and he's been a bust. And I don't know why I always forget Broderick, but another one of Mike Tomlin's genius's moves, not panning out as usual. ESPN doesn't like to talk about that. ESPN needs to do a whole investigative series on how many first, second, and third round draft picks that Mike Tomlin made that never panned out. But of course, they'll blame Omar Khan. They'll blame Art Rooney. They'll blame the racist Steelers fans. It'll be everybody's fault but Mike Tomlin's. We already know the playbook. It's whatever. So Coach McCarthy, he talks about Aaron Rodgers' return, reunion, whatever the hell this means. He's in a really good place. Listen, Aaron, I do understand that we need you, and we're kind of in, a no-win situation because of our quarterback position, and this reset button should have started a long time ago. But I'm really getting tired of hearing that you're in a good place and all this bullshit. Can you? I mean, I don't know if they offered you. You kind of indicated on the Pat McAfee show that they didn't offer you a contract. Can you just put it out there if you want to fucking play? Because I'm really losing patience. It's just like, just let us know if you want to play. And I shouldn't be cursing because there might be young kids watching my show, so I apologize for the curse word. But it's just like, can you just take it down a couple notches? Like, yeah, mentally, it's a yes or no. You want to play? Just say you want to play, and I'll take care of my contract later. You played for the bare minimum last year. So, I hope this doesn't continue past the draft. Even at a funeral to pay respects to the late Green Bay Packers president and CEO, Bob Harlan, Mike McCarthy couldn't escape an Aaron Rodgers question. Asked if he had an update on Rodgers' future, McCarthy said he didn't, but offered the latest on a slow-moving situation. It'd be a great story, McCarthy said Wednesday, asked about the prospects of reuniting with Rodgers. I don't know. I would love to tell everybody breaking news. It's really cool to see Aaron at 42, to see a young man at 22, and all that he's been able to accomplish, where he's at in his personal life, and trying to make this decision. He's in a really good place. I think he's in a really good place. McCarthy's final comment came with a pause, smile, and laughter from the crowd. I don't know. You know what? Aaron Rodgers is kind of quirky sometimes, so maybe I should take that all back. For all I know, he's probably telling Mike McCarthy behind the scenes, like, I'm only come back if you don't tell the media that I'm coming back. He might be playing a game just to piss off the media, because I have to be fair about this. The media has definitely treated Aaron Rodgers like total garbage. They tried, all because he was anti-jab and anti-COVID, anti-vaxxer. So they try to, character assassinate him. They dragged him through the mud. They came up with a whole bunch of crap about him. And maybe this is his way of giving them the middle finger back. So I'd like to apologize for that last thing. Maybe this is just get back at them. And you know what? When I put myself in Aaron Rodgers' shoes in his position, now I totally understand if he is the one doing that. Let me look at the super chats. Derpy 501 Street 2 said, if we draft a lineman in the first round again, I'm going to crash out. It sure does seem like that. I think we're going to take an offensive tackle. I think we're going to take that big Samoan kid from, I think he's from Utah, or I do think we're going to take a left tackle. I hate to break the news to you. I'd like to go safety, but I don't see how you take a safety over a left tackle, especially since we already have like 10 safeties on the roster. Let me tell you his name. They've been looking at the kid from Penn State, the tackle. They've also been looking at there's another kid they've been looking at, a Samoan kid from, yeah, he's from Utah. Kaleb Lomo, huge offensive tackle. So I mean, it wouldn't shock me if the Steelers took, and hey, you blame that on Tomlin. Tomlin's the one that wanted to, trade up 3 picks to draft Broderick Jones. So another Tomlin failure that we're all paying for still. Here we go. Daniel Jeremiah would be surprised if Steelers draft Ty Simpson 21st overall. Oh, whatever. I'm not even reading that. Derpy 501 first 2 said, I want to trade up in heart. Be if down gets. Are you talking? Are you trying to say you want Caleb Downs from Ohio State? Is that what you're saying? Because I want him too. I think he's going to be an excellent player. Yeah, that's true. They do like the Penn State offensive tackle also. That is true. Let's listen to Nick Wright's ridiculous take. He's always trying to get street cred by saying good things about Tomlin that aren't true or don't exist or never existed. Yeah, I really hope the Steelers get Kaleb Downs also. You know, I say this all the time about Kaleb Downs. They did an interview with him, and I like his serious approach to football. Kind of reminded me of Ronnie Lott, Minka Fitzpatrick. You could tell he was real serious about his craft. Going to be a good player in the locker room. And these days, that really matter. Never mind his physical ability on the field. I really like him. So I do hope the Steelers draft him. I hope it's possible. This is what Nick Wright went to say. They will miss Tomlin. Nick Wright anticipates losing season in Steelers' first year under McCarthy. Just an idiot. Nick Wright says, I'm going under 8.5 wins. Wright said recently on his What's Right nothing's right on the What's Right podcast. You're an idiot, Nick Wright. I think they will miss Tomlin. I think the fact that Aaron Rodgers is making them do this utter farce off. I haven't decided if I'm coming back yet. What are they going to start? Will Howard. They didn't sign Tui Tugliavala. They didn't sign Kyler Murray. They didn't sign Malik Willis. Oh, yeah, we're going to sign Kyler Murray, Tui, and Malik. Just, if you don't even watch Steelers games, please don't try to give your insight because you sound idiotic. Whatever. The Steelers should have grown a spine and signed Kirk Cousins. No, you know what, Nick Wright? You should just do yourself a favor and stop trying to say things for street cred that are positive about Tomlin, because Mike Tomlin has single-handedly destroyed the Pittsburgh Steelers organization with his draft picks, with his schemes, refusing to change, refusing to bring in other coaching to, not Calvin Austin. Our defense coordinator, Austin, was horrible. Terrell Austin, excuse me. I mean, it just is every decision that Mike Tomlin has made, for the most part, has caused nothing but chaos and destruction for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, I'll give him credit for signing Aaron Rodgers, but what he didn't really have any other option. So was it really a decision? Or was it really just like, okay, well, we have no other option, so let's just sign him? I mean, it was a good decision, but I don't really think he made the decision to do that because there was no decision. You had no choice. Honestly, I don't expect losing season without Tomlin. It'll be the same crap it's been since we lost Rodgers in the fluke of a Super Bowl mediocre garbage with the same 18 to 21 pick. Well, I expect Mike McCarthy to turn it around. I expect Mike McCarthy to turn around fast. He has a track record of doing that. I think we're going to get our first playoff win in 10 years. That's what I'm expecting. The all-seeing Goy 1590 said, terrible Austin and Awful Smith, bye-bye Dumpling Stooges. Yeah, I mean, I agree. All these picks that Tomlin made, the Caleb Johnson, to Broderick Jones, the Kenny Pickett's, everybody right away right now is like, oh, Keanu Benton, he definitely turned the corner. I don't know if Keanu Benton turned the corner. Did he get a little bit better? Yeah, I'll give him that. Could these players be much better under a different coaching staff? Yeah, I'll definitely give you that. Because Tomlin and his coaching staff is probably one of the worst coaches and coaching staff in the entire league. So could our players be better? Yeah, I'll say that. But, you've seen our first, second, and third round draft picks wash out over and over and over again, where, they're either on other teams, they wash out of the league, they're not working out. I mean, even DK Metcalf. I think DK Metcalf is a good player. Do I think he's worth the money that they're paying him per year? Do I think he's an elite talent, wide receiver number one? No, I think he's a wide receiver number two at this point in his career. Tomlin wanted him. That's Tomlin's decision. I think he's a decent player. I don't think he's an elite player. I think we got two solid twos, on Michael Pittman Jr. I would look at Michael Pittman Jr. as more as the one than DK Metcalf. I think DK Metcalf is a solid two. If he loses another step going into this year, maybe now he's kind of like maybe a 2.5 to a 3. But I don't think he really deserved, to get paid another $50 million. I don't think he's an elite receiver anymore. That's on Tomlin also. This all starts and ends with Tomlin. I don't want to hear about Art Rooney. I don't want to hear about Omar Khan. Tomlin was the architect of this entire thing. And when the team wins, guess what? ESPN, Tomlin's the greatest ever. And it starts with Tomlin. And then next week, if they lose and they get blown out, oh, it's not Tomlin. Oh, it's Art Rooney. Tomlin has nothing to do with it. Oh, the Steelers organization's not doing enough for Tomlin. Like from week to week, they change, they contradict themselves. So look, I got to stop talking about Tomlin, but I just can't. When you see, I started this video with Kaleb Johnson was going to be let go. He's on the bubble. I don't expect him to be on the roster in September. I really don't. So DeAndre Hopkins reveals state of Ravens locker room after loss to Steelers. They didn't trust us. That was probably the hottest I've seen the locker room in a while. Hopkins said via Buttle MB's Twitter, me and Derrick Henry was just looking at each other like, did that really just happen? I ain't think it was real for a second. I thought I was still dreaming. I was like, ain't no way he missed that. But really, it shouldn't have gotten down to depending on him to kick a 40-yarder. Oh, I love when the Ravens feel pain, especially when they're in those ugly purple uniforms. We felt as an offense, we should have ran the ball with Derrick. As players, we felt like we should have kept handing the ball off to Derrick and let him try to go score. You got to give him a chance to go and score and not put it on the rookie. As players, we felt like they didn't trust us to go score. Well, we all see how it worked out. I mean, Tomlin, he dodged the bullet on that one. Steelers really shouldn't even have made the playoffs last year. We never mind win, we shouldn't have been there, and we all know that. Yeah, so AJ Hawk is trying to put his 2 cents into Aaron Rodgers. I've been sending him texts. AJ Hawk urging Rodgers to play for Pittsburgh and shares his responses. No joke. I've been sending him texts telling him, hey, Aaron, you got to go back. You need to go play for Pittsburgh. You need to play for Mike McCarthy. He'll either say shut up or nothing. So we're good. Hawk said Monday on the Pat McAfee show. All right, whatever. Great insight, AJ Hawk. I'm glad they wrote this article on this. Shut up or didn't respond. Yeah, that gives us some insight to what's going on. Okay, whatever. Oh, Roger Goodell. Roger Goodell shares expectation for Pittsburgh's upcoming draft. I think this will be a moment where Pittsburgh is going to shine, Goodell told Bartley via 93.7 The Fan. I think that's the most important thing about the draft. When a city hosts a draft, they need to do it their way. It needs to reflect on their community. It's got to scream Pittsburgh. I'm sure that's going to happen because the fans, the iconic location where we're at, the stadium on one side of the river, Point State Park, that incredible intersection of the world. Well, Pittsburgh will unveil the result of years of strategy and planning from April 23rd through the 25th. The 3-day event is expected to bring in 500,000 to 700,000 fans into the region. Well, that's good for the city of Pittsburgh. The businesses really need the business, and I'm happy that it's finally happening there. Should have taken place a long time ago. But I don't need Roger Goodell, of all people, telling us how Pittsburgh should do it. It's got to be Pittsburgh. Well, Roger Goodell, you're everything that the Pittsburgh Steelers aren't. We like violent, physical football, and you like Bad Bunny. So let me move on because I can go on. You've already heard my spiel on Roger Goodell. I can't stand the man. So they should actually ban Roger Goodell from the city of Pittsburgh. They should actually ban him from the stadium. They really should. And remember one thing, the black and gold, the Pittsburgh Steelers that I love so much, before Roger Goodell became the commissioner, all the teams had a vote if they wanted to give him full power. Remember one thing, remember this, the Pittsburgh Steelers were the only team to vote no on giving Roger Goodell full control and power of the National Football League. So that's one positive thing I'll say about Tomlin and the Steelers. The entire team voted no because they knew the direction that Roger Goodell was going to take the National Football League. And Troy Polamalu said it best. Troy, of all people, said it's turning into the National Pussy League with Roger Goodell running it. That's coming from Troy, a man that never curses. I want Roger Goodell to resign and go be the commissioner of badminton, tennis, ballet dancing. I don't give a shit. Just get out of football. Can't stand you. Let me end it with this. Joe Hayden predicts Patrick Queen will be way better in 2026. Well, I hope so, because he's making a lot of money and we need him the most. He doesn't show up, Joe. With the defensive lineman and people being on their job and not letting the offensive lineman get to Queen, I think he's going to have a way better year. Hayden said Monday on his Debo and Joe podcast. When I go back and I look at it, he's shooting gaps. He's not afraid. He's running. He's hitting. He's going to do what he has to do. But I think some of the times when you get a free lineman up on you that doesn't have to go block, literally on you with an angle, that's tough sometimes. We get these D linemen that can really just hold your ground. It's not for you to make the play every time. Stop trying to go under people. You staying right here, that's going to make Queen be free so he can be way more productive. Well, you know what? I'll just try to stay positive, and let's hope that Joe Hayden's right. I mean, it's not that Patrick Queen is a bad person in the locker room or a bad guy, but I've seen a lot from Patrick Queen when no linemen were on him, and he's turning his body, getting skinny, or he looked like he wanted no part of tackling Derrick Henry in the playoff game 2 years ago when the Baltimore Ravens ran for 299 yards. Then it comes out, look, whether he's sick or not, it's all irrelevant. It's a new coaching staff. I'm sure Patrick Queen will be back with the Steelers. There's not a lot of free agents on the market to replace Patrick Queen. There's not a lot of free agents out there to replace him. Some draft boards have us linked to take in the Georgia linebacker to replace Patrick Queen. I don't know if that's going to happen. But let's just hope our entire team, offense and defense, gets put in better positions to win football games under Coach Mike McCarthy and his staff. And I'm going to end it with that. Thanks for tuning in to Steel City Football, the 412. Thanks for everybody tuning in to the Super Chats. I appreciate you guys.